Yo, shalom. Good afternoon, Israel. Grace and peace be unto the 12. Today, we're going to hopefully conclude the Colossians 3 and 13 plan. The Colossians 3 and 13 plan going into how we deal with each other as brothers and sisters. And it's part of our repentance plan. It's step 2. Step 1 is dealing with yourself, the Ezra 7 and 10. Step 2, Colossians 3 and 13, dealing with your brothers and sisters. And then step 3 will conclude that repentance plan, and it's going to go into judgment. But we'll get into that later. Right now, we're going to stick with this Colossians 3 and 13 plan. Go ahead and give shout outs to, and if I can't see you in the chat, just letting them know. But Salah Alayam, grace and peace be with you. Glad to see you in here. They say glad to see you in the chat. And hey, anybody else want to join? We'll see y'all later. We're going to go to Matthew chapter 26, verse 6. Matthew 26 and 6. And we're going to get to the lesson after we go ahead and explain the woman and put the ointment on the body of our Messiah. Matthew chapter 26, verse 6. Now, when Jesus was in Bethany, in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box, a very precious ointment, and poured it on his head as he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, to what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor. When Jesus understood it, he said unto them, why trouble ye the woman? For she hath wrought the good work upon me. For ye have the poor always with you, but me ye have not always. For in that she poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also this that this woman have done be told for a memorial of her. So whenever we bring out the true gospel of Jesus Christ, the gospel that's spoken to the 12 tribes of Israel that's scattered all over the globe, the gospel that we know, it's to those people who we would call black, those that are descendants of the slaves, those people that we know are in tribulation at this moment because they have been punished by God because they have transgressed against him. We speak this gospel that is telling us to keep the law, statutes, commandments to those people who we said are the children of Israel, the ones that we call, as I said, black, Negro, all of those things. And we're going to always remember the woman that put the ointment on the body of our Messiah, Jesus the Christ. So without further ado, let's get ready to dive on into the lesson. Let's first kind of get an understanding of how the Lord wants us to move. So, and we got to understand how we've been, because one thing we do need to know is the mercy the Lord's had for us. And the Colossians 3:13 plan, some of the main parts of it is mercy with each other. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Nehemiah chapter 9, verse 16. So let's get an idea of how our forefathers were and get an idea of the mercy God has shown us. Okay. Let's go to Nehemiah chapter 9, verse 16. Nehemiah chapter 9, verse 16. But they and our fathers dealt proudly and hardened their necks and hearkened not unto thy commandments. So Nehemiah is explaining, he said, the people, our people and our fathers, our forefathers, the people that lived before us, the people that are our family members, they dealt proudly, meaning they walked with haughty, stretched out necks. They was like, man, God, I know more than you. I understand right from wrong better than you. Why do I got to listen to you? You know what I'm saying? That's dealing proudly. That's thinking that you're smarter than the creator himself, the manufacturer of this earth and the manufacturer of your body, the manufacturer of the lakes, the rivers, the animals, the trees, all of that. The ultimate architect. You think you know more than him. That is being very proud. And on top of that, extremely stupid. But he says they dealt proudly and hard their necks. Verse 17. And refused to obey, neither were mindful of thy wonders that thou didst among them, but hardened their necks, and in their rebellion appointed a captain to return to their bondage. But thou art a God ready to pardon, gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and of great kindness, and forsookest them not. So we got to understand, it says he's slow to anger, meaning he didn't right away bring the hammer down on us. He gave us time. What was he giving us time for? To get it right. He was like, okay, I understand. Y'all are adults. Y'all going to understand what y'all need to do. Y'all going to get it right. Y'all going to fix yourselves because y'all know my expectations. Y'all not just going to just flat out disobey me and tell me F you to my face over and over again. Y'all going to realize, hey, I've messed up and I'm going to come back. Well, we never did come back around. We continue to do our own thing. We continue to say, God, our way is better than your way. So we believed in our lies. We believed in our wickedness. And the Lord was not pleased with that. That's why he said, hey, you know, y'all hardened your necks. He says, and you weren't mindful of the wonders, meaning you didn't even think about, didn't consider the amazing acts the Lord did. Y'all didn't see the uncanny things that he done. There was the miraculous wonders that happened right in front of our eyes. Y'all didn't think nothing about the Lord parting the Red Sea. You know what I'm saying? The first Randy Moss. Anybody ever seen Moss scoring them touchdowns and he was doing this? Hey, the Lord did that. He had the Red Sea and he just parted that mug sideways. Red Sea out the way. Israel walked through there. And then after we got through and the Egyptians got in which is crazy. If you read through Exodus 14, you'll see while the Egyptians were chasing us, the Lord started making the chariot wheels fall off. Those are other wonders. Some chariot wheels manufactured by the most powerful nation on earth. All of a sudden, their chariot wheels just start falling off. Why they're chasing us? Why they're in the middle of riding through? Why would that happen? Because the Lord wanted them to be stuck in the middle of the Red Sea while it was parted. And then while the chariot wheels fell off, they were like, man, hold on, this must be God. Something's not right here. They didn't want to keep going, but the Lord put it in a spirit to continue to chase. He put it in a spirit to do that. So they continued to go, and then wheels came off, they got stuck, and then the Lord said, okay, time's up. And once that countdown ran out, he let the waters close in on them. Hold on really quick. Okay, so he said they refused to obey, and what he's trying to say is they continued, they hardened their necks, they were being rebellious. And then he said they got a captain and they want to return to bondage. After the Lord saved us out of all of that, they said, hey, let's go back to the place the Lord opened up the sea for us and swallow the sea on our enemies. That when you talk about extreme rebellion, when you're saying I want to go back to my terrible situation that I was in, the place where he cried out to us. You know what I'm saying? We was in Egypt crying out, God, save us, help us. We're in bondage. We're slaves. You know what I'm saying? Anybody ever seen the movie Prince of Egypt? Deliver us. You know what I'm saying? They got all this stuff going on. They were, Lord, please get us out of this situation. I hate it. And the Lord put his spirit on Moses to come and deliver us. After he delivered us, guess what turns around? Guess what happens? We say, let's go back into slavery. Let's get a leader to lead us back into bondage where we just cried out to God, deliver us. We showed extreme ungratefulness. So the Lord was like, man, these people ain't no good. So what I'm trying to explain to you is he said this. He said he was slow to anger. He was patient. And he was like, all right, I'm going to have mercy on these people. So all praise to the Most High that we got a God like that we serve. Oh, and see, Katrina just joined the class. Hey, shalom. Glad to see you here. Yeah, my firstborn here. Well, you know, could be the excellency of my strength. You know, as long as she walks in my strength, walks in my path, as long as I walk in Christ's path, she follow that path, she be good. You know what I'm saying? But so that's what we got. We was asking the Lord to deliver us, and you know, he delivered us, but we turned around and said, Lord, take us back into slavery in our rebellion. The point we got to understand is Nehemiah 9:17, he says they hardened their necks and in their rebellion appointed a captain. It doesn't say in their obedience, in their rebellion. And what he's trying to say is before they didn't even make it, we didn't even make a trip back to Egypt. They said, hey, let's get a man to take us back, Dathan and Coram, and let's go back to Egypt. Let's go back there. The Lord did not punish us for the action of going back there. The Lord was like, I see what's going on with you. I see that you are mentally thinking, I want to leave. He says in your rebellion, you're appointed the captain because your mindset was wrong. You had the wrong idea that actually want to go against the Most High. And this Colossians 3:13 plan is going into having the right idea. We got to have a certain mindset. We got to have to actually love our brothers and sisters, to care about each other, to help each other make it to the finish line, because we are not moving in a way to make it to the finish line. We're moving in a way to, it's like we're racing against each other. We are literally like, hey, let's go to the kingdom. Oh, if you don't, I'm going to beat you. I'm going to beat you there. It's like we racing the race and we trying to beat each other there when we're all trying to get to the same place. No, actually, we should all be helping each other make it. We running, and if you see somebody getting tired next to you, you're like, hey, come on, keep going. Matter of fact, here, let me get your hand. Now, after a while, you're gonna get tired of pulling them. They're gonna wear you out. But if you understand they're actually trying to go, you see that maybe they're a little injured, you're gonna keep pulling. But you gotta put the effort in to help deliver your people. And that's what the plan is for. The biggest way the most important way you need to deliver your people is exercising patience and mercy, because you will get tired of pulling that hand of that person that you feel like is not coming with you. You got to bring them along. That is part of your growth as an Israelite. It might be people that are not as strong as you spiritually. They might not have the understanding, the wisdom. They might not have the behavior that you got. But you got to understand that if you are actually truly that spirit that the Lord is going to deliver into the kingdom, you are being tested with the spirits that you might think are beneath you, the ones that you think aren't on your level. Guess what you got to do? You got to help them make it. So that's part of being in this walk. That's part of the plan. Forbearing one another. You know what I'm saying? Forbearing one another literally means being patient, enduring. Because when you endure something, it's suffering, and you got to patiently suffer, and it's going to get on your nerves. Like, oh my gosh, I get tired of these Negroes. But you know what? You still got to do it. These Negroes, they're actually making you better. They're actually improving your spirit. You don't realize it. It's just like when you're working out. You're working out, you get tired of, might get tired of doing those curls. You might get tired of doing them squats. Your legs are on fire. Your arms on fire. Doing bench press. Your chest's on fire. You running. You might be doing a bunch of sprints, running around the track. You feel like your hips are going, your back is on fire. Everything is hurting. But you keep going. Because once you get done and you finish, when you make it through your trial, you be like, hey, hold on, look, I got a little definition. My muscles are showing. Oh, when instead of jogging across the street and feeling like I'm about to die, I actually jog across the street and I don't even feel nothing. It's just, I'm breathing regular. I'm not wheezing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not panting. So I'm good. This is what the plan is for. This is what forbearing one another is for. When your patience, it builds experience hope. And hope makes not ashamed. All of these things in the scriptures, they will build you up. The Lord is making you stronger. So these things will help you. That's why you got to endeavor to keep the unity. Strive. If you're not striving, you're not trying. So let's go ahead and read this plan now. Let's go ahead and get started. Colossians 3:13. Colossians 3:13. Again, I was reading that so we can understand the patience the Lord had, because we are straight up rebellious and just dealing with him wickedly. And he said he's still, I'm going to read that before I get to Colossians. I'm going to read Nehemiah 9:17 one more time. Nehemiah 9:17. And refuse to obey, neither were mindful of thy wonders that thou didst among them, but hardened their necks, and in their rebellion appointed a captain to return to their bondage. But thou art a God ready to pardon. See, it says that we got to understand our God is ready to release us from our sin. He is ready to forgive us. He's waiting to hear. It's like a person, that you might do something, somebody might do something to you, but you really love them, and you're hoping that they just, any little thing they do, you like, okay, all right, come on, I forgive you. Because you're actually ready to forgive them. You're prepared. This is the spirit of our Father. He's ready to forgive. That doesn't mean you're just going to let somebody do you any kind of way, because the Lord is ready to forgive, but he will make you prove yourself. He will make you show that you're really about it. So he's going to be like, okay, come on, I'll give you another chance, but why are you doing that? I'm watching you. The Lord's still watching. Why do you think he's watching all of us right now? All of us that came into the truth. When we came into the truth, when we first threw all the pork away, the Lord didn't say, oh, you're in the truth now. Beam him up, Scotty. Nope. The Lord did not beam us up into heaven. As soon as we started wearing fringes, he did not take our spirit away and we fly off into the everlasting abyss. Nope. When we kept our first feast day, it didn't happen. When we kept the Day of Atonement and we know it was tough for us to fast for a whole day, he did not say, all right, Lord. I said, Lord, he is the Lord. All right, okay, let me make him give up the ghost. He made it. No, he's like, all right, you did it this time. Keep going. You really love me? Okay, it's going to show in time, because you're going to go through test after test after test to really be that. So for all the people talking about, I love my people. Yay. Hey, sis. Hey, brother. Yes, I love my nation. No, the freak you don't. Most of y'all don't. Y'all fake as hell. Y'all really be lying to yourselves, talking about, I love. No, if you love them, then guess what's going to happen? You will endeavor to keep the unity. If you love your people, you will endeavor. You're going to strive. It's going to be, and you will get tired of certain people. And sometimes you do have to cut people off. Don't get one. Don't understand for a second. Don't think for a second that you can't cut people off. You can cut people off. All right. So you can do that. It's okay, but it's got to be done correctly. It's got to be done with mercy shown first. You got to do it with amount of love shown first. And usually that's going to come with it's going to be a level of judgment you have to understand when that time is. Sometimes you may not understand what that is, but you'll be shown. You will be shown. And if you don't understand, guess what? You have someone to tell you. They'll give you guidance and they'll tell you exactly how to do it. So they'll let you know. All right. By the way, I see you, daughter of a king. Grace and peace be with you. Shalom, shalom. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Glad to see you in the class. Glad to see you in the class. Yes, Sister Zulian showed up for a minute, so I was, see them popped in. Hey, so let's get Colossians 3 and 13, and we will go from there. Like, go ahead and get this thing started. Colossians chapter 3, verse 13. Forbearing one another and forgiving one another, if any man have a quarrel against any, even as Christ forgave you, so also do ye. So he's saying, he's letting you know, oh, remember Christ forgave you, you forgive them. If anybody read Matthew 18, it's a parable. It talks about the guy that got a big debt forgiven of him. Then he went right out there and didn't give no mercy to his fellow brother. And then the king that actually released him of his debt was like, you know what, man, go get that wicked dude, throw him in jail, give him to the tormentors. Man, I revoke my mercy. So I want y'all to understand too. Remember, the Lord might have showed mercy on you, but if you don't show mercy to someone else, that parable is written for a reason. The Lord don't make stuff up. He said to let you know, oh, you've gotten some mercy in the past. Oh, he might decide to revoke the mercy he's given you. So just keep that in mind. Israel, we gotta be wise in our dealings with our people. We gotta be wise in our dealings. Okay. Oh man, I know this thing about to hold on, my bad. Having technical difficulties. Saying my thing ain't plugged in. I know it's plugged in, so this thing better not cut off on me. All right, there we go. All right, saying I'm in. All right, my bad. So I don't know how that happened. All right, we back. Well, I never lost y'all, but yeah, I said we back because it was getting ugly. Anyways, so we got to remember to forgive one another. It's just that important. We can't forget. We got to remember to keep everybody in mind. I'm saying this. All right. Don't know what's happening. Don't need that though. You don't need none of that smoke. Let's go ahead and go to the next law, because I'm gonna go ahead and get the laws on this. Like I said, forgiveness and patience and mercy and all the things that we need from the Lord. Because again, he said he had manifold mercies. Manifold is just like I said, he had many. He had abundance of it. Just like we had an abundance of cattle, abundance of wheat, abundance of crops, or whatever, all the stuff we could eat. God has abundance of mercy for us, and it doesn't go away. In fact, let me go ahead and read that scripture one before I get into the lesson. Let's go to Psalm 136 and 1. I believe that's the one I want. Yep. Psalm 136, verse 1. Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good, for his mercy endureth forever. So we got to understand this. It says his mercy endureth, meaning it continues on. It doesn't stop. He don't give up. He don't run away. He's like, no, give thanks to him because his mercy, it's everlasting. Now that everlasting it's everlasting for that time period he has for us. Because here's the thing, his mercy. Here's what we got to win. Here's the window of mercy. And we all don't know how much mercy we have, but here's one thing to keep in mind. Here's your mercy. Once the Lord takes your life, that's when your mercy's up. So we don't know when that time period will be. We don't know when he's going to take our life. We don't know when he's going to take our spiritual life either, because mercy is there, but he just gives you up to a reprobate mind and your mercy's gone. You know what I'm saying? You're finished. And if he's judged that, ain't nothing you can do. The Lord's done with you. So the Lord's done with you, you'll know, because then actually a lot of times you won't know. You'll be given up to strong delusions, and that's a very, very scary thing. And I wouldn't want no part of that. Something I thought about earlier. I was in the middle of something I was saying, and I forgot it because I had a scripture I was ready to go to, and actually mad I didn't keep it in mind because it was something that was going to go with what I was saying. It'll come back to me though, if it be the Lord's will, and if he don't want it to come back to me, then I won't get it. All right, let's go into the lesson now. Let's go to the next one because the one we got to understand is don't be greedy. Don't be greedy. Don't be greedy. Go to not Leviticus. Go to Philippians chapter 2, verse 3. Philippians chapter 2, verse 3. Philippians chapter 2, verse 3. Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem other better than themselves. So it says, let nothing be done through strife or vainglory. See, when you do things through strife, it means you're contentious. You actually have the wrong spirit. Just like a whole lot of people that's so-called in the truth, and they're trying to go teach people, but they're going out on the street to teach just to actually make people look stupid, or to get YouTube views and to look special and all of that. That's things being done through strife and vainglory. You're trying to basically argue with people. You're trying to be contentious. And it says only with pride cometh contention. So all you're trying to do is argue. You're not really trying to edify. You're puffed up. And we know that knowledge puffs up. But what edifies is charity. That's not being done with wisdom. Knowledge is not being done with wisdom. It's not done with kindness. Kindness is what teaches people, because that kindness actually shows that care and patience is what you can't be a teacher if you're not patient. Because if you're teaching someone, you're trying to show someone something that doesn't know. And if they don't know, then guess what's going to happen? You get that. All right. Philippians chapter 2, verse 4. Look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others. And that's going back to being greedy. We got to think about what other people's needs are. We got to look past ourselves. You want to know why the black family is in such disarray? Why is there so much dysfunction? Because everybody looks on the needs of themselves. We don't look on the needs of others. We don't think, okay, let me make sure I get someone else's. Let me give this. Our purpose in life is to live for each other, to do things for others. We're supposed to be giving. The first thing the Lord told us, watch this. Let's go back to the very beginning. I'm going to go watch this. Let's go to Genesis chapter. I'm going to go to when God first created Adam and let's go to Genesis chapter 1, verse 27. So God created man in his own image. In his own image means with his characteristics like him. Yes, we look like God. Our people do. We do have this. We have the same features. We have the hair. We have the dark skin and all of that stuff, right? But he says let every man be. He said let man be created in his own image. He's talking about a particular man, and this man, his own image, is a man that's going to be like him. Let me create men that act like me, that think like me. Let me create a legacy. See, God's all about legacy, just like men are. That's why men are about legacy. That's why men carry themselves a certain way. That's why we want to create a legacy. We want to create a whole group of people that act like us, that think like us. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, I've thought like that since I was younger. When I was a younger, especially early adult, I was like, yeah, when I want children, I want to multiply me's out here, because I think if there were more me's in this earth, then this earth would be a lot better. Well, I understand, because God is how he feels. He's like, I'm creating more people like me. That's why if you think about the children of Israel, we're the most abundant. We're the most fruitful. Even in slavery, you go back into Exodus, it says the more they afflicted them, the more they grew. We was in all this turmoil. We still making more and more babies. You know what I'm saying? Besides the fact that we physically look the best, and we have, we can, the women can carry, they can make multiple babies. Men, of course, can spread their seed. We have the ability to do so. And there's other parts I ain't get into, but we can create life and on a high level, higher than anybody else. Why? Because the Lord's like, I want more of me out here. We're designed this way on purpose. We're designed to be the greatest nation on earth. Okay. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. Now here's the point. As I said, we can't be selfish. I brought the scripture for this reason. Don't be selfish. Don't be greedy. And God blessed them. And God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply. See, I want to explain this for a reason. Being fruitful is being giving, caring, spreading, getting things out. We look at being fruitful as just going out here to, have sex and make children. No, Being fruitful is being productive. When you're productive, it means you're producing something that someone else can consume. See, black people are just consumers because we don't look on the things of others. We look on the things of ourselves. Consumers just want to take, take, take. Producers want to give. That's why God created us to be givers. Why do you think he said in the before the curses, he said, you shall lend to many and they shall not lend to thee. Why? Because he meant for us to be giving. He meant for us to be the ones in charge, the ones to be making sure things happen. Provide. What are we providing? We're not only providing, actual things to sustain life, like regular bread and meat, but no, he says he's also we're providing, knowledge, providing wisdom, providing direction. We're supposed to be producing something. When we're just consuming, what we're doing is being selfish. That's what we can't just be consumers. Babies consume. That's what babies do. Babies later, why, give me that nipple and I want to drink some milk. They're just consuming. You know what I'm saying? People, what do black parents say? All you do is eat, sleep, and what are they saying? Because you're just consuming. That's also why black people always get rid of their kids when they're young too. They just, get out of here. Can't wait to get out of my house. Get out of here. Why? Because they don't want to produce for them anymore. That's really what it is. Selfish. I'm telling you. And who's running the household now? Women. And it's not a shot at black women, just what it is, because women aren't naturally producers like men either. Women are, they produce for children, and once they see you not as a child no more, they're like, get out of here. Especially if you're a man. Don't be a young black growing up until a young black man. They already don't like black men anyway. Get out, get the hell out, and because they don't want to deal with that. I'm not going to produce for you, even though at a certain point he's supposed to start producing. The point I'm making is be fruitful and multiply. Be fruitful, be productive, produce. Apple trees, they are giving apples to us. They're fruitful. You know what I'm saying? Grapevines produce grapes. And matter of fact, even if you think about actual plants, if you go to the store, you go in Kroger's, if you're like, hey, I want to get some celery and some lettuce, they're going to say, go to the produce section. The produce, it's something produced from the store. So what I'm trying to say is we got to produce. Producers are givers. We got to start being givers. We're not givers. And that's why we struggle in dealing with each other, because we have the mind of takers. Takers are dangerous. They're destroyers of worlds, of nations. Matter of fact, shout out to Corey Hogan. He just now said something recently talking about, he said women are destroyers of worlds, but he's right. And you know who else are? The men raised by those women. That's why if you see the majority of men, they are takers. That's why most women only want a few men, because they know most men are takers, because most men are sweet as hell. They know they soft and they effeminate and they act like girls. They're like, oh, you a girl like me. Why I got produced for you? You know what I'm saying? No, I need no, I don't need that. So destroyers of worlds. We destroy each other, and that's why our nation don't grow. That's why even amongst people that's so caught in the truth, they're takers. That's why they don't trust. Why they can't bind together and build together, because they don't think to give. Notice how you'll see a lot of people in different camps. They won't give big ups to other camps. Why? Because somehow they think it takes from them. They want everybody to give to them, but they will not give to anybody else. They don't have that. Just notice certain people. You'll notice they can't do it. They can't deal with other people, nor can they give any big ups or any of that. They're not gonna give no props or no compliments like that. They're not going to do that. Why? Because they got to take. They need to soak in and suck up all the resources. Resources are the people. They're going to, I got to take all the people. I need all the people to follow and believe on me. I don't care about that. Know why? Because then you're a producer. Hey, go. If it's something you can get that's great outside of what I'm teaching, go get it. Go learn it. And if it's crazy, guess what? If you think you're learning something, come and ask me about it. Let's talk about it. If it goes against what I'm teaching, what I'm saying that the scriptures teach, then I'll be like, nah, that's off. But hey, that's fine. Go, because you're gonna hear other stuff anyway. It ain't like people sit down and watch Bible classes 24 hours, 7 days a week. They get on there and watch TV anyway. So they're still taking in poison. You're watching movies, watching TV shows, listening to music, so you're still soaking up, poison. So it gets filtered out. But you can't filter it out if you don't have conversations with your people, which is also why Pitt is playing. It's important. You got to have conversations with people constantly. People outside your bubble, not just in your home, not just people you comfortable with, people that's, people's in your congregation that you're building. You got to try to build up with all of them. Soak up knowledge and understanding, and just discuss things. That's where the growth is. All right, let's go back on this end. Don't be greedy and selfish. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 20. Again, we got to look past the needs of ourselves and look at the needs of others. Because and just in case anybody doesn't know, you look into the needs of others. Think about our Messiah. Jesus Christ did not lay down his life for himself. He didn't need to. He was already in heaven with the Father. He could have been kicking it with the Father forever. He did not need to do that. His mission was completely for someone besides himself. His whole mission was to come down here and suffer and die for us. That was the whole point of him coming down here. So we just gotta keep that in mind. His whole mission, it's equivalent to. I'm gonna give another example. Matter of fact, since I mentioned Christ, let me go ahead and do this before I go to Deuteronomy. Let me read Hebrews. I'm gonna show it's the mind of a nation builder. Okay, let's go to Hebrews chapter 11, verse 24. I'm gonna show the mind of a nation builder. Somebody looks to the needs of others. Somebody's thinking, you know what? Although I got it good, I can never rise above my people. Probably should save some of this because I got a lot that I'm nope, I'm coming back. I'm coming back for this. Come back for this on the Sabbath. Hey, make sure write read Hebrews 11 now. I'm coming back to that for class. All right. Mind of a nation builder. But Christ, let me go ahead and just read. I'll read this for Christ. I'm gonna go ahead and go to Christ. Hebrews 9 and I think it's 15. Hebrews chapter 9, verse 15. And for this cause, he is the mediator of the New Testament, that by means of death, for the redemption of the transgressions that were under the first testament, they which are called might receive the promise of eternal inheritance. See, he came to lay down his life. By death, he was getting us redeemed. He was rescuing us. He was saving us through his death. So you got to understand that's what was happening. That's exactly what was happening. Let's go now back to Deuteronomy 24:20. Okay, so Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 20. Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 20. Oh, no, I don't want 24:20. I'm sorry. 24:24. Actually, I'm sorry. Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse. Nope, that ain't the one I want either. I'm sorry. Oh, no, I had it right. I was at 23 and 20. That's why I was like, man, this don't look right. All right. Deuteronomy 24:20. When thou beatest thine olive tree, thou shalt not go over the bowls again. Again, this is going about not being greedy, not being selfish. This is part of the Colossians 3:13, dealing with each other. He says, when you beat the olive tree, when you're trying to knock the olives out of the tree, don't go back and do it again. You already beat it once. You knocked enough of them down. Okay, let me read on. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and the widow. Keep in mind, it says for the stranger. Somebody strange is somebody you don't know, you're not familiar with, you're not used to. They're not in your immediate circle. He says, leave something for people you don't even really know. These are mindset laws. This is how he wants us to think. He says, don't esteem others more than yourself. Be fruitful. Be a person that's a producer for your people. That goes back. It also goes into giving alms. And we talked about this. So many people in Israel don't give alms. They don't even think to give alms. It's not even in their mind. When you first get paid, the first thing you need to do is have a certain percentage that don't even belong to me. This is for the nation. Because when them crops was growing, it was for the nation. And the people that was greedy, the Lord made sure they got their judgment. He like, oh, you don't want to save food for people? All right, let me go ahead and send a flock of locusts over. I said flock. A gang of locusts over there, and let them eat up all your crops. So now you ain't got nothing. All the locusts done ate it. You hungry? Eat a locust. That's what it is. The Lord gonna do. Okay, cool. All right, now you ain't got no more tomatoes. Matter of fact, let me let the worms eat it. You know what I'm saying? Let me stop the rain from coming and get a drought. So now all that food you thought you was getting, you're like, oh, I'm getting it. I don't need God, because you obviously don't need God because you ain't listening to God who gave it to you. You're gonna be like, all right, well, I'm just gonna take it from you. Well, that'll happen nowadays. Oh, you don't need no, you ain't gonna save your money for your people. You ain't gonna put it towards, oh, okay, cool. You know what I'll do? Let me make your car break down. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, let me make your water heater bust. Now you're gonna pay $2,000 to get that fixed. You know what I'm saying? Let me take something. Let me put you through a sickness where you're gonna lose money on that. You're gonna miss days of work. And now you ain't going to work. You know what I'm saying? The Lord can control everything. Why would you mess with him? To me, it doesn't make any sense. But you mess with your people, you messing with the Lord. See, that's all right. I got some things I want to keep for Sabbath. Either way, you got to make sure you're giving it. You produce. Be a producer. Be fruitful and multiply. Okay? Be fruitful. Be a producer. All right? Let's go down. Deuteronomy 24:21. When thou gatherest the grapes of the vineyard, thou shalt not glean it afterward. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and the widow. Remember, it also says fatherless, meaning the household that doesn't have a man that can, strong enough to go out and go, create more crops, to go out there and plow the fields and stuff. You got, women ain't gonna be able to do as big of a job as a man. So they're going to have less to eat. It's going to be tougher for her to even sustain her family. It says, so the rest of us are supposed to produce enough for the woman that does not have a man to take care of her. Be a father to the fatherless. That's the reason why the scriptures is like it. But you know how we think? No, just me and my household, me and my 3-4 little kids, and to hell with everybody else. You're supposed to produce for the fatherless. But when you like, oh, I'm going to make sure my family's good, guess what you're going to do? You're going to be pissing on the rest of your nation because you so dang on selfish. You don't think about nobody else. You're like, well, my family first. No, your nation first. And wait till the class come in. Anyways, I'm very, very, when I'm talking, it's certain ideals and mindsets that really, really trigger me, that really get to me and bother me, because it shows me that, certain people that do things, say things like, you really not in the truth. You're really not. You're not all the way there. Can you get there? Absolutely. If you can be reproved, if you can be corrected. But that mindset is of the devil. It's straight up wicked. We got to get out of that mindset, because when you do that, it lasts for so long, and you really destroy everybody else. It's a destroyer of worlds. Just like I said, envy is a destroyer of worlds. Selfishness is the complete destroyer. The foundation. Everything in the scriptures is against selfishness. And people don't even realize taking care of your family over everything is another act of selfishness. Y'all gonna learn that one day. You're gonna learn. I'm telling you. And the thing is highly, highly, highly frowned upon by most people to think like that. You know why? Because light can't comprehend darkness. You know what I'm saying? The world is full of wickedness. Let's go on. Where is that? Deuteronomy. Let's go to the next one, man. Let's go to 1 John 3:16. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get past this. We're gonna go to giving our life for each other. Matter of fact, I'm sorry. Let's go to Exodus 22:31. Let's go to Exodus 22:31. I touched on this. No, I'll stay with that. Let's go to 1 John 3:16. Exactly, Lord, a mindset of many Israelites. Hey, all right. The curious easing. Hey, shalom, grace and peace be with you. Hopefully having a good afternoon. Let's go to. Let's go to when I say 1 John 3:16. Yeah, let's touch on that. I'm gonna close out on this last part about not being selfish, and then I'm already going to some of these scriptures. We're gonna see these in class. Sorry, y'all. 1 John chapter 3, verse 16. Hereby perceive we the love of God. So he says hereby perceive, meaning here's how we understand God's love. Because he laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for the brethren. He says we should lay down our lives for each other. And yeah, I'm going to revisit that. I'm not going to stay on that too long. It's self-explanatory at the moment, and I will dive into that later. Let's go into Exodus chapter 20, verse 17. Now we got to make sure we don't have the wrong desire for another person's property. You got to understand these things, because when you do that, it leads to so much evil. Let's go to Exodus chapter 20, verse 17. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. Thou shalt not covet, I'm sorry, start over. Exodus 20:17. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Now, one thing that really jumps out, and everybody should have knew, and I didn't know it till I was in the truth, and I was like 4 years in. I was like, you know what? It never said, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's husband. Didn't say that, but we ain't gonna mess with that too much, because it's letting you know that these are indicators of possessions. The possessions are the man's. They belong to the man. But what I do want people to understand is, don't covet your neighbor's thing. What he's trying to say is, you have a desire for something that is beyond anything ordinary. And when I say beyond ordinary, it means you will break God's commandments just to obtain it, So you don't want to do that. You don't break God's laws just to get something you want. If you have a desire, if you want a flat screen TV, if it's a Sabbath day and that flat screen TV is $3 and it's a 70-inch and it's brand new in the box, guess what? If you got the inordinate desire to get it, you're going to buy that flat screen TV. Even if it's $3, you're going to buy it and be like, well, I don't care. I had to jump on that deal, because you want that TV so bad. Understand, it is not that serious to go get something, because I can guarantee you that 70-inch TV is not worth that eternity of lake of fire. That eternity of flames, it's not worth it. You're going to be sitting there like, because here's the thing, you in that lake, you ain't even get to see the TV. You're going to be in eternal darkness. So you're going to like, man, I had that TV for 2 seconds and then Christ came back and now I'm dead. And now I'm in these flames, and I got to look at people every Sabbath and new moon looking at me like, what a dummy. So that's coveting. Don't covet something beyond what is important, what you need. Okay, let's go to Colossians chapter 3, verse 5. Because again, we should not have that desire over someone's property, and inordinate desire. Because then when you do that, or if you want someone's wife, what can someone do if they want them that bad? You can have the person killed. Ask King David. He wanted Bathsheba so bad that he had to have, he wanted to cover up his sin so bad. And he wanted her too, because soon as he was gone, he brought her straight in. Well, you my wife now. You know what I'm saying? It's my baby, you my wife. Don't have that desire, because that desire will lead to your wickedness, your hatred for another person, because that's what it is. When you covet something to someone's, you covet to a certain point, you will envy them, you will be jealous of them, and then you will have a spirit of murder on you. Don't do that. Don't have that spirit. Let's go to Colossians chapter 3, verse 5. Mortify your members that are upon the earth. Let me make sure I got the right script I wanted. Let's say Colossians. Yep. Mortify your members that are upon the earth. Fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, and covetousness, which is idolatry. See, covetousness is idolatry. When you desire something so bad that you will go against the commandments, you have now bowed down to another god. How? Because you wanted, if someone desires to eat catfish that bad, that means catfish is their god. It is idolatry, because you know catfish is against the commandments of God. So that same thing goes for how you're treating your people. If you want someone's car so bad that you will steal that car from them to have it, that car became your god, because you was willing to not only hurt your father, but you was going to go against love God with all your heart, but you're now going to go against love your neighbor as yourself, because you hated your neighbor to have something for yourself, which goes back into the being greedy and selfish. All of these things are the things that lead to the destruction of the people. You do not want to destroy your people with that foolishness. Let's go to Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. All right, Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Now, it tells you this is the first commandment with promise. If you go to Ephesians 6:1, let me go ahead and read that really quick. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 1. Sorry, I went the wrong way. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 1. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor thy father and thy mother, which is the first commandment with promise. See, here's one reason. It says it has promise. Why? Because your days will be long upon the earth. Why will your days be long? Not just because you listen to mom and daddy, because you learned respect. See, if you don't learn respect on the basic level of honoring your mama and your daddy, you're not going to have respect for your fellow brothers and sisters. You damn sure ain't gonna have respect for God. You gonna have respect for your cousins, your friend, well, people that you would think are your friends, your co-workers. You ain't gonna have respect. Your days can't be long upon the earth because you're gonna deal with people in a bad way. Why? Because you don't have reverence for someone that actually fed you, clothed you, protected you. If you don't have respect for somebody that does those things for you, then why would you respect somebody that doesn't do those things for you? You're not going to. The first commandment we're promised. Why? Because so many things so many things branch off from that. Everything God does is with a purpose. There's a method to his madness, which many people think God is mad, but nah, he's not mad at all. God is a genius. He's the matter of fact, the most knowledgeable genius on the planet, all knowing. There's a reason he's all knowing, because he understands if you believe in these scriptures, and you follow these scriptures to a T, then you are going to be the perfect person. That's why he says, thou shalt be perfect with the Lord thy God. And he tells the man, the rich man, if thou wilt be perfect, being perfect is being complete. You're going to have it all. People are going to see you be like, man, that's a great man. That's a great woman. Why? Because that person is complete. That's what makes somebody beautiful. That's the most beautiful thing. Nothing better than somebody that's completely in line with the word of the Most High. Completely in line. I ain't talking about somebody that's conditionally submissive. Nah, somebody that fully follows the Lord. And the Lord loves that, because he knows if you don't follow him with a perfect heart. He's just waiting until you prove it. That's all it is. He's gonna let different situations come to pass. And he's like, oh, you ready to follow me now? You gonna stick to it with this? He's gonna see where we at. All right. Let's go to Leviticus 19:18. That's something, of course, we know Israel struggles with plenty of times. Leviticus 19:18. Thou shalt not avenge, nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord. So he's trying to tell us is don't hold grudges. Do not, if somebody does something evil to you, somebody does something bad to you, they treat you a certain way and you don't like it, saying don't hold on to it. That's why he said let it go. Even if they don't repent for it, you still got to let it go, because what it will do is eat you up. It's one of my favorite lines I heard Will Smith say, and just the two of us, him and his son. He says, let God deal with the things they do, because hate in your heart will consume you too. The reason he said, hey, that was a bar right there. He spit that. I was like, yeah, I've always remembered that as a kid. It will consume you, because their hatred for them will put that bitterness in you, and you will never be able to function right with it ain't just gonna be with them. It's gonna consume you in dealing with other people. You ain't gonna deal with other people uprightly, because you're always gonna think somebody's gonna do you like that person. You hold on to that pain, you hold on to that anger, and you're never letting it go. And that's why he says, let go of all wrath, bitterness, strife. That's why he tells you that in Ephesians. He says, let that go. If you don't let it go, it will tear you up. It will take you down. Okay? So don't hold a grudge. Let's go to Matthew 18:15. So he says, don't hold a grudge against your people. All right. Matthew chapter 18, verse 15. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, so if somebody do something to you, and it makes you want to hold a grudge and you're angry at him, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother. But if he will not hear thee, then take with thee one or two or more, that in the mouth of two or three witnesses every word may be established. And if he shall neglect to hear them, tell it to the church. But if you neglect to hear the church, let him be unto thee as a heathen and publican. Why is it telling you to do that? Because he's saying, if you go through all of these steps and you try to resolve the problem, you try to actually reach a common ground, you actually try to squash the matter, you try to work things out, because you want to show that, hey, I love you. I want to win you over, not just win you over. It ain't about winning you over to me. At this point now, it's about winning you over to Christ. I want the Father to still love you. I want his son to still save you when he returns. So we got to understand it's bigger than us. It's much bigger than us. It goes back to not being selfish and greedy. Everything is bigger than us. It's more than us. We ain't that important. But he said he's giving you the steps. Here's how you don't hold a grudge. Go to him, try to fix it. They get smart with you. They don't cooperate with you. All right, go get 1 or 2 people. They don't work out with them. Go get a church. Get the whole congregation, so they can get a whole group of people to tell them, let them know, hey man, you out the spirit. You got to get that together. And it ain't about people supporting you. They're supporting God. And you got enough people to support God, they will change. What happens though, a lot of times, well, I'm gonna get to that in a second. After you get all these people to do that, and then they still won't listen because they refuse to hear God out of all of these people's mouths that actually are giving them the same scriptures, then he's saying, let them be as a heathen or publican. He's saying, let it go. Turn into Elsa and let it go. Yes, Elsa. Okay, Anna's the other girl. Yeah, let it go, man. Because obviously this person does not want to date. They evil. And if that person's evil, why are you going to give that evil person your energy? Why are you going to let that evil person make you have hatred for them? Why are you going to hate them for being themselves? Scripture says, ye that love the Lord hate evil. So you can hate the evil in them, but why hate them? Yes, you hate evil. They don't be evil. Let them be that. Let them be themselves. That would be like hating a tiger for jumping on you and biting you if you're running around in the woods by himself and he's hungry. He's doing what he do. He's a tiger. What you think he gonna do? He's a tiger. You're prey. He's hungry. Okay, so just understand. It ain't personal. That's just how they are, and that's what makes you not hold grudges. When you understand how people are, understand what is, and accepting what is, accept reality, and then you'll be at peace. Okay, the key to being at peace is accepting reality. So when he says, let them be as a heathen or publican, Christ is telling them those people are devils. Let them be who they are. Let them be exactly who they are. All right, let's go to Exodus 21:16. Exodus chapter 21, verse 16. And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. So scripture is telling you, if you kidnap somebody, you're worthy of death. Now we know now we're in a grace period. The Lord gives us time to fix it, but we can't be kidnapping people. Hopefully that goes without saying, and you can't do that. That's not how you build great relationships amongst a nation. If you go and grab somebody, put them in chains and drag them off into your house and, tie them up somewhere, that's not going to build a good rapport. That ain't going to work. So I shouldn't have to, I ain't going to spend too much time on that one. Same thing in 1 Timothy 1:10 talks about men stealers. We don't want to do that. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 5, verse 1. Matter of fact, I'm coming. I ain't gonna mess with. Yeah, I'm gonna touch on that one. Leviticus 5:1. I touched on Leviticus 19 before, but I'm gonna just touch on this. Leviticus chapter 5, verse 1. And if a soul sin and hear the voice of swearing, and as a witness, whether he has seen or known of it, if he do not utter it, then he shall bear his iniquity. So if you know about something that's wicked and you ain't saying nothing, you know what I'm saying? Scripture's saying you did the sin too. That's evil. And that's kind of go into judgment. And I'm going to touch on that. I'll probably put that part of that in the judgment plan. But the point is, you hurting your nation by doing that. You're hurting your people. You know what I'm saying? You want your people, you want to endure. You got to know, hey, this stuff is wicked. We can't be doing those things. Okay. Don't cover up sin, because when you cover up people's sins, you're actually showing hatred to them. Don't cover up the sin. Let them know they sin. Let them know they need to repent, get back on track. Okay. It's the same thing. Let's go to Leviticus 20:1. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, again, thou shalt say to the children of Israel, whosoever he be of the children of Israel, or of the strangers that sojourn in Israel, that giveth any of his seed unto Molech, he shall surely be put to death. The people of the land shall stone him with stones. So if somebody, again, says they sacrifice a child to Molech, yeah, you got to punish them. You got to let them know, hey, this ain't cool. You got to be put away from the people. Verse 3, watch this. And I will set my face against that man and will cut him off from among his people, because he hath given of his seed unto Molech to defile my sanctuary and profane my holy name. And if the people of the land do in any ways hide their eyes from the man, when he giveth his seed unto Molech and killeth them not. So he says, hey, if they pretend like they didn't see it, they act like they don't know what happened. They know good and well they just now sacrifice their child to Molech. If you act like you don't know what's going on, verse 5, then I will set my face against that man and against his family, and will cut him off and all that go a whoring after him to commit whoredom with with Molech from among the people. Now, let me go to this too. If you hide your hide your eyes, pretend like you don't see it. See, let me go ahead and let's go ahead and touch on this really, really fast. I ain't gonna do too much. And I had a class on this like 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago, talking about we sacrificing our children to other gods. If someone is leading their family to Satan, if they are sacrificing a child to Molech, they are giving their child up, not only just to die, but to die the eternal fire. So if you know if someone is straight taking the children off into Satan, don't hide your eyes. Don't hide your eyes. Be like, nah, that's wicked. You can't do that. You're gonna destroy your family and you. Don't do that. But if you hide your eyes and act like it ain't your business, now guess what you did? You set up the Lord to be like, hey, I'm gonna set my face against them and you and your family. So now all your family is gonna go down with the person that sacrificed their child to Molech because you pretend like you know what's going on. Or you just like, nah, I don't, it ain't my business. Well, scripture says you hide your eyes, it's on for you. He don't like that. So just make sure we keep in mind that as well. Let's go to now Deuteronomy chapter 20, verse 8. Deuteronomy chapter 20, verse 8. And the officers shall speak further unto the people, and they shall say, what man is there that is fearful and faint-hearted? Let him go and return unto his house, lest his brethren's heart faint, as well as his heart. And it shall be when the officers have made an end of speaking to the people, they shall make captains of the armies to lead the people. So he's saying set up leaders, but first he says if somebody is afraid, get them away, because it's going to cause everyone else. That spirit's going to jump on everybody else, because everybody's going to feel like, oh, we can't win, we're going to lose. That's what happens to all the people in the wilderness as well, because all the men that said there was giants in the land and was afraid. Say, if you're afraid, don't even come to war. Stay home. Don't even be around here. See, we gotta understand, we in the war against this world. We're soldiers of Jesus Christ. So if anybody is doubtful, is fearful, they not 100% behind you, 10 toes down in this truth, hey, don't leave them around, because their spirit's gonna jump on everybody else. So just keep that in mind too. You can't endure with that. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna actually destroy your nation, your congregation. It's destroy your congregation, which in turn will destroy your nation as well, or prevent your nation from going to the next level. All right, let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 25. Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 25. But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die. But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as when a man riseth against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter. So just like someone commits murder and kills someone, if you actually grab a woman and force her, if you rape a woman, it's just like murder. And that's why the Lord's like, that's death, that's worthy of death, because you killed that person. Person is living physically, but it's just like you killed them, because you destroyed their spirit, you've messed them up mentally. And not saying they can't come back, because we know the Lord can do all things. All things are possible through God, but this thing you did is just like murder. That's what the Lord puts that in. He puts in the murder category, and straight up hatred. And so, honestly, even when I read about Absalom, before Absalom completely went wicked, when he killed Amnon for what he did to Tamar, so I was like, all praises, get him. I felt like that. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like when I was watching. Anybody was seeing King Richard, and one dude that was one gangster dude kept on. Him and his homies beat up Venus and Serena daddy, and then he rolled up, and I might talk about this in class before, and he was like, he was about to go get him. He went back, he was a security guard, he got his piece, he rolled up to where he was, got out the car, we walked up to him, and somebody drive through it, took him out. I was like, all praises, get him. I was hey, judgment. Yeah. Now of course we know the Lord's merciful and all of that stuff, But I definitely was like kidding because stuff like that you see. So, and again, speak I, not the Lord. So I don't want nobody to be like, this is what God says. We do know what took place. I know the history though. Absalom took out Amnon. So just leave it at that. But anyways, you take a woman and force her, man, that should not be. And again, everybody has different spirits on them. So if you have that spirit on you, yeah, just be aware of it. And if you got somebody you trust that can, help you fight it, man, you gotta disclose it, man. If you want to fight it, because you don't fall into that sin, because people around you can't promise your safety. That's all I'm gonna say. Can't promise your safety from the most spiritual men. All right, let's go to Deuteronomy 24:4. Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 4. Let me see. Is another one I wanted? Yeah. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me get Esther 7 and 8 real quick, because I want to touch on this, because we're now talking about no forcing someone. And I'm just going to touch on what happened in history for Esther. All right. Esther chapter 7, verse 8. Then the king returned out of the palace garden into the place of the banquet of wine, and Haman was fallen upon the bed where Esther was. So Haman, got on the bed. Esther was in Esther's bed, right? We know Haman is not married to Esther. That was King Ahasuerus' wife. A. B. What are you doing in her room? C. Are you out your dang old mind? But he said Haman was on her bed. Let me read on. Then then said the king, will he force the queen also before me in the house? Is he gonna take my wife in front of me? Do I look like? Let me read on. As the word went out of the king's mouth, they covered Haman's face. So just man, y'all seen movies where they get like a bag and they just put the bag over their head and drag him away. Or he said covered his face, or they could have just put a big old giant bicep over his eyes and drug him up out of there. Something happened where he got handled real good. Verse 9. And Harbana, one of the chamberlains, said before the king, behold, also the gallows which 50 cubits high, which Haman had made for Mordecai, who had spoken good of the king, standeth in the house of Haman. Then the king said, hang him thereon. He said, man, hang him right there. Verse 10, so they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. Then was the king's wrath pacified. See, even you try to force someone, oh, he got his life taken. You know what I'm saying? That's just the Most High ain't with it. So he will get you. Let's go down to Deuteronomy 24:4. That's where I was going at first. Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 4. Matter of fact, I started, Deuteronomy 24:4. I started 1. Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 1. When a man have taken a wife and married her, and it comes to pass that she hath found no favor in his eyes, because he hath found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand, and send her out of his house. So, man, he wants to divorce a woman. All right, go ahead. Verse 4. Her former husband, which sent her away, may not take her again to be his wife. After that, she is defiled. Why is she defiled? Because she lay with another man. She went and married another dude, and the dude would just marry her, just like, all right, okay, yeah, you can sit in here and look pretty, and I never touch you. No, you're gonna get his due benevolence. Well, she's gonna be defiled. All right, let me read on. For that is abomination before the Lord, and thou shalt not cause the land to sin, which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance. So if you married to a woman and she go marry somebody else, she ain't coming back. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Forever, ever. So brothers, don't be the brother that's like taking back the woman. Like the Lord say don't do it, says she's defiled. It's abomination. I mean, the Lord hates that. You know what he hates the most? He hates you being a simp. You're like, dang, you weak. Like, you go just take back this. Anyway, let's go. Jeremiah 3:1. Let me continue on this. Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 1. They say, if a man put away his wife, and she go from him, and become another man's, shall he return into her again? It's saying, why should? Because it's understood, like it's saying in Jeremiah 3, like, hey, we don't do that. That's not how we handle things. Let's go on. Shall not the land be greatly polluted? But thou hast played the harlot with many lovers, yet return again to me, saith the Lord. See, it says the land's greatly polluted. You know what? Because here's what's going to happen. If you take back a woman that's going out here laying with other dudes, and you bring her back to you, she's gonna feel like, for one, she's gonna be like, I must be bad. I'm a bad bee. I'm a bad bee. She gonna do all the dances, all that goofy stuff, and she gonna think her stuff don't stink, and you ain't gonna be able to tell her nothing. She gonna look at you like you are weak. She is not going to respect you. And then guess what's gonna happen? If you got a land full of women that don't respect their men, you got America. so you don't want that. You gotta have some type of strength. The land will be polluted. Land become polluted, and all the women gonna be like that. That's why in Esther, that's why you read the very beginning, they told King Ahasuerus, send Vashti away. The heathen got more sense than us. They're like, man, get her up out of here. If you let her do this and you the king, what you think the rest of these women gonna do? Why you think Cardi B got all these women? You know, I don't cook, I don't clean, and all that goofy stuff. And especially Jada, that she set her husband down. Yeah, and Chris Rock had me weak. He sent her doing an interview. So how did you feel when he had my legs up in the air? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. We gotta understand that when you do this stuff, everybody's seeing this. They're like, this is Will Smith. You know what I'm saying? The major icon. If he gets done like this, the other women are like, ooh, that's my role model. I want to be just like her. The land will be defiled, become greatly polluted. It's just we have to think. We got to understand these laws are spiritual. That's why you read it, and let me read that one time since I'm here. Romans 7:14. Romans chapter 7, verse 14. For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin. Because we're carnal. Our minds are, we got our own foolish imaginations. That's why we got to stay out of our heads. You know what I'm saying? We know this stuff, but the law is spiritual. The law is great. So everything in the commandments is spiritual to give us an understanding of how we should be, how we should carry ourselves in our day-to-day lives. All right, let's go to Exodus chapter 22, verse 25. Exodus chapter 22, verse 25. If thou lend money to any of my people that is poor by thee, thou shalt not be to him as an usurer, neither shalt thou lay upon him usury. So again, don't be taking advantage of your people. The big thing we got to take out of this is don't take advantage of your people. God hates this. Proverbs 22:16. Let me go further into this. Proverbs chapter 22, verse 16. He that oppresseth the poor to increase his riches, and he that giveth to the rich shall surely come to want. It says, if you oppress the poor to get richer, if you are trying to take advantage of your people that don't have nothing, the Lord's like, oh, I'm gonna make sure you're lacking. I'm gonna make sure you don't got something. I'm gonna bring divine intervention on your ass, and I'm gonna be happy about it. And other people that are spiritual will be happy about it because they're gonna know it comes from me. So don't be taking advantage of your people. The Lord hates that. You know what I'm saying? Let's get to the next one. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 25, verse 39. Leviticus chapter 25, verse 39. And if thy brother that dwelleth by thee be waxen poor, and be sold unto thee, thou shalt not compel him to serve as a bondservant, but as an hired servant and as a sojourner, he shall be with thee and shall serve thee until the year of Jubilee. What he's telling you, he's saying, when he says sold unto you, just meaning that he comes up under your direction. You comes in your direction. He works for you. Okay, that's it. You can have him work for you, but you cannot make him a bondman. He is not yours he's not your property and you keep him forever. No, he just works for you. Don't enslave your people. You would think that goes without saying, but again, these laws are here for a reason, because we wicked in the mug. We always trying to oppress. We do anything to get rich, even step on our own. Okay, we cannot do that. We do not want to step on our own people just to get rich. All right, let's go to 2 Chronicles chapter 20. In fact, let's go to Colossians 4:1. Colossians chapter 4, verse 1. Masters, give unto your servants that which is just and equal, knowing that ye also have a master in heaven. So he says, hey, give what is equal. Be fair. That's what he's trying to tell you. So just because you have somebody working for you, be fair to them. When you have a slave, you're not going to be fair to them. You're going to be unfair. Like if I have servants I'm not going to give them what I have because they're not my people. I'm gonna look out for my people like I'll look out, you know what I'm saying, for my family. Because your people are your family. That's an understanding that we gotta get to, that our people are our family. But as long as we think of each other as fellow church members, co-workers, we'll never go past a certain level. We're always gonna be stuck on the low level of nation. What's the low level of just being a nation period? That's the best way I can word it. We're gonna be in last place, like we already are. You know what I'm saying? Getting number one draft picks. That's just what'll keep happening. Let's go to Leviticus 18:18. Leviticus chapter 18, verse 18. Neither shall thou take a wife to her sister. It ain't just talking about her blood sister that came from her father's seed or came out of her mother's womb. No, it's saying don't take a wife to her fellow Israelite. Don't get them close to each other, in the same place. All right. To vex her, to uncover her nakedness beside the other in her lifetime. So don't have both of them naked with each other in the same place. Threesomes are wicked. The Lord is not with that. So all the people I know, multiple wives is lawful, but do not be like, a lot of people have multiple wives just so they can have threesomes. No, that's against the scriptures. Don't do that. All right, so just keep that in mind, that it's not of the Lord. Don't open up Pandora's box. It's a bad box to open. Please don't do that. Let's go to Jeremiah 22:13. Jeremiah chapter 22, verse 13. I was at 23. Jeremiah chapter 22, verse 13. Woe unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness, and his chambers by wrong. So he says destruction to you if you actually doing evil just to gain more capital, to basically like making money off the poor, oppressing the poor. All right, let's read. They useth his neighbor's service without wages, and giveth him not for his work. So he's telling you destruction to you if you got people working for you and you're not paying them. That's not of God. That's not of the Lord. And just in case you think I made it up, let's go to Leviticus 19:13. Let's see if it's in the law. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 13. Thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him of the wages that is hired him. I'm sorry, let me read that again. Thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him. The wages of him that is hired shall not abide with thee all the night until the morning. So, if you got the money, you got money, you got the money that he's supposed to get paid. If you hold on to it and don't give it to him, that's sin. And the Lord says he will cry out against you, and let's just say it won't be pretty for you if the Lord has to bring judgment. So let's not do that. Let's go to Jeremiah 22:13. No, I'm sorry, wrong scripture. I'm sorry. Deuteronomy 19:14 is what I wanted. Deuteronomy chapter 19, verse 14. All right, Deuteronomy chapter 19. Sorry, going the wrong way. Verse 14. Thou shalt not remove thy neighbor's landmark, which they of old time have set in it inheritance, which thou shalt inherit in the land that the Lord thy God giveth thee to possess. It says don't remove their landmark, meaning if they have a space that they live on, don't infringe upon it. Don't be like, this is my property, and you like take parts of it. Don't do that. Don't try to slay them and say this is my land. No, that land is theirs, and it's their inheritance for their family to be passed down generation to generation. It's theirs. If God gave you the land, that's your land. It's their land. Don't take it. It's evil. It's sin. He's not okay with that. All right, let's get Deuteronomy 27:17. Deuteronomy chapter 27, verse 17. That was verse 16. Let me check this. Cursed be he that removeth his neighbor's landmark, and all the people shall say, Amen. Again, he's saying you're cursed. You'll curse your family. Don't take your neighbor's property. All right. Don't covet fields like other people do. You covet someone's field. Oh yeah, man, I want his field with his squash and his watermelons. I want to take that. No, that's his. Don't covet that. Okay. Let's go to Leviticus 19:32. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 32. Thou shalt rise up before the hoary head, and honor the face of the old man, and fear thy God. I am the Lord. Let's go to 1 Timothy 5:1. So he says, raise up before the hoary head. A hoary head is the gray-headed man, which also will go into the gray-headed sister. So what's he trying to tell you? 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 1. Rebuke not an elder, but entreat him as a father, and the younger men as brethren. So he says, hey, for one, that's your family. Treat them as your brothers. But he says, rebuke not an elder. Does that mean you can't correct them at all? No, he's telling you that when you correct them, you do it with respect. Okay, you understand their position, understand your position. Verse 2, the elder women as mothers, the younger as sisters, with all purity. And he says you treat the elder women as mothers. So you younger women, if you got elder women, be respectful of them. And that goes back to what I was talking about earlier, when it talks about honor thy father and mother and you'll have a long life. Because you learn how to honor your father and mother, then you're going to have respect for the elder women because you understand the importance of them. You understand the importance they have to the nation. Okay. And you destroy the nation when you don't show respect to the elders, because you should be reverencing them. You should be wanting to learn from them, desiring that. And then they will also get on their job and try to do their best to be an example, because they see that you look up to them. But if you don't look up to them, then they're going to move in a different way. Now, is it okay to do that? No, they should be elders regardless. But understand, respect your elders. All right. Be respectful and reverence them. See them as special. All right. Let's go to Leviticus 25:17. Leviticus chapter 25, verse 17. All right. Ye shall not therefore oppress one another, but thou shalt fear thy God, for I am the Lord thy God. So we don't oppress each other. Don't mistreat each other. Bottom line, do not try to keep people down that's your own. You should be helping your people grow. Don't be crabs in a barrel. That's pretty much what it's telling you. Don't oppress one another. Let's go to Proverbs 14:31. Proverbs chapter 14, verse 31. He that oppresseth the poor reproacheth his maker, but he that honoreth him hath mercy on the poor. So he says you got to have honor for the poor. You know what I'm saying? Don't oppress them. Honor them, respect them. Just treat them with reverence. You know what I mean? I understand they might not be in a good position, but you don't oppress them. You don't try to treat them bad or do them, that's a poor person. Just like if you go into the book of James and he says somebody has gay apparel, which means they have good looking clothing, flashy. He says don't treat them better than the person with holes in their clothes or they look a little dirty. No, don't do them like that. So we gotta understand those things. Let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 1 verse 5, and we towards the end of the appendix plan. 1 Timothy chapter 1 verse 5. Now the end of the commandment is charity out of a pure heart, and of good conscience, and of faith unfeigned. When it says unfeigned, it says real, not fake. When you got a pure heart, you're sincere. You really want to do it. You're not like, I don't want to do this. Because if you're like, I don't want to do this, that eventually is going to take you away. So you better, if you don't got charity, you better build it. Charity is actually true kindness. You really actually want to be nice and want to do better. You want to change. If you don't really want to do better, if you're not a nice person, you better become a nice person. You better pray, Lord, give me a nice spirit. Lord, I'm an asshole. Can you please take that asshole spirit off of me? I'm sorry for using that word, but sometimes we gotta just be honest with ourselves. Let's get as y'all see in the background, the fruits of the spirit. Let's get the fruits of the spirit, the actions that go with these laws of the Most High. Okay, we got to do that. We got to accept who we are, how we've been, and we can't be fake with each other. We got to be real. We got to be honest. Okay, Romans chapter 12 verse 9. Romans chapter 12 verse 9. Let love be without dissimulation. Abhor that which is evil. Cleave to that which is good. It says love. Let love be without dissimulation. Again, is fakeness, not being real. It's feigned. It says let your love be true. Let it be honest. If you really don't love somebody, don't fake it. Okay. If you don't love somebody, pray the Lord puts a spirit on you to love. Pray the Lord helps you see the good qualities in them so you can love them. A lot of times it's all on your mindset. What's stopping you from loving them? Okay. Let's go to 1 Peter chapter 4 verse 8. 1 Peter chapter 4 verse 8. 1 First Peter chapter 4, verse 8. And above all things, have fervent charity. Fervent is that burning passion, that serious, like strong charity. Okay? You gotta have that much care and kindness for your people. Above all things, have fervent charity among yourselves, for charity shall cover the multitude of sins. And then he says, cover the multitude of sins, meaning almost all your sins. But verse 9, watch how it gets better. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. He says use hospitality one another without grudging. If you're grudging, again, you're it's not real, it's fake. And you should genuinely want to use hospitality anyway. So if you don't want to use hospitality towards your brother and sister, you need to look at yourself and say, you know what? I got the devil on me. So keep that in mind. We understand it's Satan is stopping us from using the hospitality, actually using that genuine care and desire to look out for each other. Okay. So I pray y'all gained some wisdom from this, some understanding. I pray y'all were edified. Israel, I love y'all. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna get one more script and we're gonna get ready to close out. Let's go to Jude. I'm gonna go to, matter of fact, let's go to Hebrews chapter 13, verse 25. We'll close out from there. Hebrews chapter 13, verse 25. Grace be with you all. Amen. So I pray the Lord's mercy and patience continues to endure with you throughout all this time. Because if you fall, you're going to need his mercy to pick you back up. All right. So Israel, y'all have a good afternoon. I love y'all. Grace and peace be unto the 12. Shalom, shalom.